In today's session, we'll see how to use conditional statements, and then we'll see how to use this, say union queries, crosstab queries, and also we'll see how to use joins. First, we'll see how we can use this conditional statements. So, what are conditional statements? So that is the if conditions. Similar to our Excel, here in SQL also we have this conditional statements. Let's go to this create, and then we'll say query design. Let's take some data. Let's say I'll take this raw data table, and then we'll take the sales data from this. Now I have some values here. I want to classify it. Let's say any values above 5,000 should be high. Otherwise, it should say low. So I want one more column saying that high or low. So I'm just trying to bucket the values. We'll have this high and low. If the value is above 5,000, it should be high. Otherwise, it should be low. So for that, we'll go here, say design view. We'll go to this build, and we'll say status. Here we'll mention if, but here you don't have if. There is something called as IIF. IIF means it is immediate if statement. It is similar to my Excel if statement, but here we'll be mentioning it as IIF. Okay. It lasts for the expression. Expression is nothing but the criteria. So criteria is what? What is the criteria I'm trying to check? Now here we'll mention saying that sales is greater than 5,000. So this operator, this is the comparison operator. Here you can use greater than equal to, less than equal to. Okay, these kind of operators. If sales value is greater than 5,000, then there is something called as true part and the false part. If this value is true, that means this condition is true, I'll say high. Else I'll say low. Close the bracket. Say okay. Now if I run this, see, wherever the value is greater than 5,000, I can see that will be high. Otherwise it will say low. So we'll just go and check this. We'll sort this, sending out, see, all the values above 5,000 will be high. This 5,000 actually, you mentioned greater than 5,000. So this 5,000 is actually coming in the low bucket. Suppose if you want to have this 5,000 also to be in high bucket, then what we can do is we can say greater than or equals to. Let's go here. I'll say, I click build, we'll say greater than or equals to. Now if I say okay and run the query, sort it, I can see that 5,000 is also coming under high status. This is for one if statement, that is a single criteria. Either I can say high or low, that is true or false. What if I want to have multiple if statement, that is nested if statement? Let's assume that any value above 5,000, let's say greater than or equals to 5,000, it is high. Any value greater than or equals to 2,000 should be medium, otherwise it should be low. So we are trying to add one more criteria here. So that is called as nested if. That is also possible here, exactly like what we have in our Excel. Now here I'll say status 2. Don't give the same name. I mentioned it as status 2. Here I'll say IIF, open bracket. It lasts for the expression. I'll say sales is greater than equals to 5,000. Then we'll say high. Else we'll say if this condition is not true, I'll have one more if statement, that is IIF, sales is greater than or equals to 2,000, then I'll say medium. If both the criteria are not true, then I'll say low. Close the bracket. Say okay. Now if I run this, we can say this. Let's say I'll sort this. You can see high up to 5,000. Then till the 2,000, see, it is medium, and anything less than 2,000 will be low. So likewise, I can use this conditional statement. Let's go and check the SQL view. Copy this. paste it in the notepad. I'll say conditional statements. Say sales if condition from this thing. So this is how the queries can be written. This is not only for numbers. I can use the condition for text as well. Let's go here. I take region. Take this region, run this. I have 4 regions here, say East, Central, South, and West. I'll give one condition here saying that if it is South, it should be ST. If it is East, it should be ET. If it is West, it should be WT. Otherwise, it should be CT. I'm just trying to give a code here, region code. We'll go here and I'll say build. They get region code. So here I'll mention as if IIF region equals East, then I'll say ET. If this is not true, then again I'll say IIF region equals West. I'll say WT. If this is also not true, IIF, then I'll mention region equals South, then let's say ST. Else, if none of the conditions are true, then I'll say that is Central CT. Close the bracket for this if condition, and I have one more if condition here. I'll put one more bracket and one more bracket for this if. Now let's say okay. If I run this, I'll get the code. Let's right click and then I'll go to this SQL view, copy this, let's put it here. Say region if condition. You can see this if condition. It says if region equals East, then I'll say ET. If region equals West, then WT. If region equals South, then ST, otherwise CT. As I've given the alias name, that is the get region code. But if you see here, multiple times I'm using this if statement. If region equals East, West, or whatever. Now what we'll do is, we'll see how we can reduce the if conditions here. I'm using multiple times if. If you find or if you come across these kind of situations, there is something called as switch, which will be alternative of this if statement when I'm using this multiple if statements. Let's go back. Right click, design view. Let this be available here, the same code, but here instead of this if statement, I'll use switch statement. Let's say get, let's say switch, colon, say switch. Now the switch, what it will do is, it is exactly like our if statement, but we are not using multiple times if statement. We give a condition and then the value. Let's say the expression region equals East, then I'll say ET. That's all. No if statement, comma, expression, then the value. Now I have this expression 2. I'll say region equals West, then I'll say W. Then next, region equals South, then Est. The next expression, region equals Central, say CT. I'll close the bracket. Here I'll have the expression and the result. Expression and the result. It will go and check every condition here. If the condition is true, then it will give me the result and it will come out. But in if statement, what will happen? I'll say if region equals East, then ET. If region equals, so multiple times I'll be using this if statement. So switch statement, what it will do? It will eliminate all this if statement. So it will take the expression and then it will give me the value. I'll say okay and say run. See, I'll get the same result, but in a different manner. Say, let's go to this SQL view, and here just paste the same code here. Say region. This is for if statement, and this is switch statement. So if you say this, here I'm using same statements here, but I'm using multiple times if statement. But here I'm using directly the condition and the value. So you can use either switch or if statement, but if statement will have multiple times, you'll be checking the value, but you'll be using if statement multiple times, but in switch, we'll be using just the expression and the value for that expression. So you can use any of these conditions, but usually switch will be used when we are using it, for multiple if statements. Right, let me save this. Save it. Right. Next one is we have something called as union query. Union means combining. We're trying to combine or append the data from one table to another table. While using this external data, we actually saw one option, append here. So what this append will do, it will append the data, that is appending one below the other. But otherwise, we can do the same thing by using a query as well. But in this case, you should keep in mind few things. Let me go to this append table 1, 2, and 3. Double click on this append table 1. You can see I have some data. That is, some columns are there here with some row IDs and some data here. If you see the table structure, row ID, order ID, and something like this, if I have a table which is similar to the same structure, let's open this append table 2. You see this, I have same kind of table here, but only the data is changing. There might be data something like this sometimes. I want to combine this. Combine in the sense, combine these two tables and make it as a single table. That is, I have the data from 1 to 10, and here I have from 11 to 25. I want to combine this and get all the 25 records in one single table, that is in a query. If you want to do that, one is while importing itself, I'll try to append it, or I can use the query, that is union query. So how to use this union query? Union queries you can use in multiple ways. That is, let me close this, go to this create, and I'll say query design. Now take one table. Here you can use this union and you can do it. But again, what we'll do is, see here, we have to write the query for union of the records. So instead, let's go here, I'll say design. Let's close this, create, go to the design view. First take this, go to the star and drag and drop. I'm getting all the columns. This is for combining all the columns. I'll show you how to combine with selected columns as well. Now when I run this, I'm getting all the data. Now I'm not filtering anything. No columns are filtered, no records are filtered. I'm just trying to take all the data, all the columns. Go to SQL view, copy this and put it here. Say See, I'm mentioning select star from append table 1. This is a table name. Next is I have another table which I need to append. So let me just delete this. I'll take this table 2 and I'll take this star. Run this. I'm getting all the records. Right click SQL view. Let me copy this. Just put it below this. Say select star from append table 2. So there are two queries now. One is select star from append table 1. then append table 2. Let's say enter. Just give an enter. Here just mention union. See, I took one query that is for selecting all the data from append table 1. Then I mentioned union. Then I took this append table 2. Copy this and paste it here like this. Directly I can write the query in the SQL view. If you are getting confused, so make sure that you will put the query in order and then put it here. I mentioned select star from append table 1 union, select star from append table 2. Now let me run this. You can see 1 to 25 records are available. This is appending without any filters. Right. Let me go here. SQL view. Let me just remove this. Here it says select star from append table 1. Go to this data sheet view. See, I'll get the data, all the columns, all the view. Let's go to design view. I will select few columns now. Let's say I want row ID, I want order date, I want customer name, and say we'll take segment. Run this. See here. Let's go here to skill view. I'll remove the star. So here I have the star. Let me just remove the star. Run this. See, I'm having row ID, order ID, customer name, and segment. Only 4 columns. So I want only these data. Okay. Right click, row design view. Instead of the segment, let me take the ship mode because we have more, here we have this standard class and segment class. Okay. We'll take the ship mode. Right click, go to SQL view. Let me copy this and I'll put it here. And here we'll take this row ID, order date, customer name, and ship mode from table 1. In this case, keep it in one line so that it will be easy for me to understand. That is which row, say which column has been used for unioning of the query. Same thing, let's do it for append table 2. I'll take row ID, order date, then I'll take the ship mode and customer name. Run this, say I'm getting this data. But guys, keep in mind, if I'm taking row ID, order date, customer name, ship mode, let the order be same. Copy this. Let me just put it below this. Say row ID, order date, ship mode, customer name from append table 2. Just observe here, row ID is matching, order ID is matching, customer name is taking a ship mode is taking as customer name. If you actually run this query, so what will happen? The ship mode, whatever is there, that will get appended below this customer name. So whenever you're using this union query, make sure that the data is ordered exactly similar to the other query. So just this and paste it. Now this will be same. Now just mention union. Let's copy this and then I'll paste it here. Run this. See, I'll get the records. In union queries, I can also filter the records. Let's say I want to filter standard class from both the queries. Then what I'll do, I'll go here, let's say where ship mode, just take this, we'll take another query itself. Copy this, where ship mode equals, let me copy the standard class, right. In this case, I'm trying to filter the records and then take the data. See, for this also I've used where ship mode equals standard class. Now copy this and then right click, SQL view, paste it here. run this, see, I'll get only standard class. So whatever values are actually having ship mode as standard class, only those records will be union from both the tables. This is union query, that is appending of the data. But what you have to keep in mind, you have to keep in mind that the selected columns should be same in both the queries. If I'm actually thinking that, okay, all the tables, say the tables what I'm trying to append, if they have same column, same structure, then use star. If you think you're taking from different tables, only those columns which are matching, then take the query like this and try to match the exact data and the data type so that you will have the right data in the append, say the union query. Right. Next one is crosstab. Crosstab means it is exactly like the pivot table what we have. Many of them actually get confused thinking that the crosstab is a very difficult query. The crosstab query is very useful when you think that the table is very big and you have to create one matrix type of table from multiple columns. It's a very simple query actually, but people actually get totally confused when they are working on the crosstab query. So I'll explain you how this crosstab query is created in a very simple way and don't get confused. Okay, let's go to this query design. I'll take the raw data table. Fine. Assume that I'm taking some data like this region. Then let's take category and then I'll take this sales. Only three columns I've taken. Now let's run this. I'm having this region, category, and sales. What I actually need is I want the total of the sales from region with category. That means in each region, for each category, what is the total sales? So for that, what we used to do, we used to group it. Let's say, click on this total. So when we use this grouping, this aggregate queries, then I have to group this thing. I'm grouping it. I'll group by region, I'll group by category, and here I'll take this sum. That is, I need the total. Let me run this. See, central furniture, I have some total. What I actually need is, I want this category to be as a column. That is, furniture, office supplies, and technology should be as a column. And I want this region to be grouped, say central, east, south, and west. Only 4 rows with these 3 columns. Like what we do in our pivot tables. In pivot table, what will happen if I take the column to row field, I'll get the unique row field. And if I take something to the column field, then that will be column field. Now, how to change this? Say I want this category column to be as a column header. Right click, go to design view. Here you have something called as crosstab. In this design, I'll have this crosstab. Click on this crosstab. Once I click on this crosstab, one more parameter will come here. It says crosstab. Let me remove this and say select. See, I'll not have that. Put this into crosstab. You can see that. See, you'll get this crosstab. When I say crosstab, 3 main things should be there for any crosstab query. So what are those? The crosstabs should have one row heading, one column heading, and one value field. This is compulsory. Let's say I want this region to be in row heading, category to be in column heading, and the sales to be in value field. One should be in the value field. Run this. You can see the table gets changed something like this. Region, and here the column category was there, that will go, and here the category is available in the category column will become the heading here like this. So now this is a heading. This is not a data now. The furniture is not a data, it's a heading. Let's go to this query, SQL view, and check. As I told you, there will be 3 things to be taken care. One is the row field, second is the column field, and third one is the value field. When I'm using the crosstab, here I'll be using this something called as transform. So what this transform will do is, it will take the value field. That is, what is the value field I'm taking? So here I'm taking the sum of sales. The next, I have the row field. Row field is nothing but the select query. What we do? Select region from raw data. So it is taking this region and it is trying to group. Now if you check this query, it is group by. Select region from raw data, that is table, group by region, that is this column is getting grouped. Pivot. Pivot means I'm taking it to the column field. So just observe, I'll use transform and I'll say that will be a value field. Select region from table, group by the region. This is for the row field, and pivot and say category. This is for the column field. Now this is actually giving me one row field, one column field, and then one value field. Let's come back to the query here. Design view. Region is the row heading, then column heading, and then value field, that is category and column field. This is compulsory, but you can have multiple row headings. That is, in row, I can have any number of row headings, but you can have only one column field, one value field. That means this transform can have only one column, that is aggregated column. I should use the function here to aggregate. I can use sum, average, minimum, maximum, count. So these kind of functions only can be used here. Pivot the column name, the field name. Here I can have only one column to be as a column heading. That is in this. You cannot have multiple. But the select query, what you have in the middle, this can have multiple values. Let's go here. We'll mention it as segment. Just trying to take. Let me just have a separate query. Copy this. Put it here. Let's say segment. Now this segment should be in my group by column as well. Let's go here, copy this, right click, SQL query, paste it here, run this. See, if you see here, now the grouping will happen based on the region and segment. The same thing you cannot do for the column heading. I cannot have multiple column headings. Let's say I'll try to change this segment to column heading and run this. See, to create a crosstab query, you must specify one or more row headings, one column heading, one value field. So if you keep this in mind, crosstab query will be very, very easy. Three things: row heading, column heading, value field. That's all. Multiple row headings are possible, but only one column heading and one value field. Okay, so this is the crosstab query. So whenever you want to create a matrix kind of table or you want to pivot something, then you can use this crosstab queries. Right. Next one is joins. This is the major thing. First, let's understand what is this join, and then we'll see the different type of join, and then we'll see how we can use these joins. Many people actually think joins are very, very complex, very difficult, very confusing. But I'll tell you, joins are very easy if you understand it properly. First of all, join means what? Joins are nothing but a relationship. You are creating relationship between one table to another table. But if you're trying to create a relationship, there should be a common column which refer the tables. If you see this VLOOKUP will work only when you have the common values, that is the matching values. Similarly, these joins. Let's go and take two tables. I made one matching table here, that is merge table 1, merge table 2. If you go and open this, Just check this. I have this order ID, segment, ship mode, and sales. Let me open this merge table too. Here also I have order ID, region, category, subcategory, quantity. If you see here, both the tables has got different columns, but one column is common, that is order ID. In this column, if you see, the order IDs should be same. Let's take this merge table one. I have this IND 2020-001. It is going up to 0 to 5. Let's come to this merge table 2. Here also have this IND 2020-001. But if you come here, it is coming up to this 015. But after that, it says 101 to 110. These IDs are not matching, but the first 15 IDs are matching. When I say join, I'm trying to join by using columns. When I say union, you are trying to join two tables by data. That is one below the other. But if you see this, I'm trying to get the data from two different tables. That is, I'm joining different columns. Now in this first table, I have region, category, subcategory, quantity. But let's go to another table. Sorry. Okay, merge table 1, I have the segment, ship mode, and sales. Merge table 2, I have region, category, subcategory, and quantity. But only one column is common here. That is order ID. By using this column, we'll try to combine or say join the two tables and convert that or say make another table. This process is called as joins or relationship. Let's see how we can do that. Let's go to this create and say query design. In this case, I have to take both the tables. All this time is to take only one table. Now I'm taking two tables here. You can have multiple tables as well. If you see here, I have this order ID and here I have this order ID. The IDs, the name of the IDs need not be same. It can be any name, but the data should match. That means the name of this order ID can be anything, and here the name of this order ID can be anything, but the IDs what I have here should match. Now when I join, what I have to do is how to join. See, I'll just drag this ID. See, I'm just trying to drag this and place it in this ID here like this. I just dragged and dropped here. Now these two are connected. This is called as join. When I'm joining, there are three different type of joins. That is inner join, left join, and right join. So what are these actually? The inner join, left join, and right join. Inner join, what it will do is, it will combine the data with only matching records. If you see here, 001 to 015 are common in both the tables. The same thing, if you see 016 to 025 or 101 to 110 are not matching. That means when I'm using this inner join, only the matching records will be taken. So in this case, I'll get only 15 records and I can combine all the columns here. Let's do that. I'll take order ID, segment, ship mode, sales. You can directly take the star as well, but I've taken these columns so that I can show you how the column should be written in the join queries. Now here I don't require this order ID. I'll just take this region, category, subcategory, quantity. So I've taken all the columns here. You can directly take this star also, but to show you guys, I just taken only these columns. Or you can select only few columns if you want. Now I want this sales to be seen in the end along with the quantity. You can just drag it here and you can put it here like this, or while dragging itself, you can adjust it. Go and check this table. In the previous queries, it was always only one single table. But here, if you see the column already, this is coming from merge table 1. Here, all these are coming from merge table 1. Now, when I go here, say region, it says merge table 2. Here, you can see the table name, from the field name which are coming from different tables. Let's go to the query and see, or say data sheet view. See, I'm getting only 15 records because only the matching records have been pulled from both the tables. Only the matching records. This is inner join. The SQL query will be like this. Now, whenever you are writing any SQL queries in any other softwares, say SQL Server or MySQL, you have to keep in mind, now you have to mention the table name as well. You cannot ignore that like this. So previously I used to delete the table name in all the previous queries. Now you should not do that. See, I'll keep the table name so that the query will understand from which table I'm actually taking the columns or say fields. See, merge table 1 order ID. So here merge table 2 and again merge table 1. So here it is taking the table name along with the field name, right? From merge table 1, you can see this, it says inner join on which table, on which field. It is exactly like the normal query, but only few changes. Select all the column names, or you can put a star, from which table, inner join on which table, and here I have to mention on which column they are actually getting related. Just if you know this, the joins are very simple. As I told you, inner join means just trying to connect between two tables by a common ID. Alright, this is for inner join. I'm getting all the common records when I run this. Right click, design new. Let me delete this. Now let's do the relationship again. I'll take this order ID and I'll drag it and I'll put it here. I'm getting this inner join, same thing we did. Now, whatever table I'm dragging, say I'm selecting and I'm dragging, this table will be left table. Let me drag this and I'll put it here. See, this is the left table. This one doesn't mean that if it is right side, this will become right table. The ID which I'm dragging from here, the column which I'm dragging and dropping here, the first which I drag, this will be the left table. Let it be towards my right hand side or left hand side, whatever. Just suppose if you already dragged and dropped, now you don't know which one is the left table, which is the right table. Select the link, double click on this. I'll get left table name, right table name. See, I dragged order ID from this table and dropped here. That means this is left table. It asks on which column I'm actually trying to relate them, that is creating joins on order ID. You can also go here if you want, you can change this here, but I've dragged and I've connected it. Only include rows where the joined fields from both the tables are equals. The serial number 1, what you see, this is for the inner join, what we created now, this one. But what I want is, I want all the records from the left table. That means all the records from this merge table 1. This is the left table, all the records. Select this. But I want the matching records from table 2. See here it says, include all records from merge table 1, that is the left table, and only those records from merge table 2 where the joint fields are equal. That means I will get all the records from merge table 1. In this case, it is having 25 records, but only the matching records from table 2, that is from 001 to 015. Rest all will be blank or say not available or whatever. Let's say okay, you can see the arrow, that is from here, it is getting connected here with this arrow. Now if I run this, see, I have this merge table 1. From 1 to 15, I'm getting the records. But 16 to 25, I don't have the records in merge table 2. That is, the table 2 I don't have. So then what it will do is it will give me blank records. If it was inner join, what will happen? It was just taking only 15 records because they were common. But now I'm using this left table. It is giving all the records from left table. Only the matching records from the second table, that is the right table, will appear here. Rest, whatever is there, that will be blank. This is left join. So the query will be just same thing. No changes, just that this inner join will become left join. That's it. Here I have this inner join, here I'll say left join. Right click, design view, select this line, double click. Now I'll select the third option. Include all records from merge table 2, that is the right table, and only those records from merge table 1 where the joint fields are equal. In this case, I have 25 fields in this merge table 2. I'll get all the records of merge table 2, but only those common values from table 1 will appear. Rest all will be blank for this table. Like it is just reverse of the left table. Let me run this. See now, I'm getting all the records from table 2, and only those common values from table 1 will be appearing here. Otherwise, the rest will be blank. This is called as right table. So now we go here. Let me copy this and I'll paste it here, and this will be right. The right table. So all the records from right table will appear. Only common records from left table will be available here. So this is called as right join, inner join, left join, and right join. In this case, in this axis, we don't have outer join. Outer join is there in other SQL, but I'll tell you what is that outer join. So what outer join will do is all the records from table 1, all the records from table 2, but when I'm getting this merged values, so here I'll have all the values from table 1 and all the values from table 2, but wherever the values are not matching, that will be blank. That is called as outer join. In Access, we don't have outer join, but in other softwares, you have that outer join. So what it will do, see here, these are the common fields. So I'll get all the records. Now these are available only in the right table, that is merge to table. I'll get these 10 records here. The next time, I'll get the 10 records which are not matching, that will be here, and this will be blank. That's all. So there, I'll be just using this outer join, so that you can actually check in other softwares. Otherwise, in MS Access, we have this 3 different joins. And joins are very, very easy. Don't think that it is very complex. It is just that how you actually create the design here. Let me show you one more example. Let's say query design. This time I'll take this data and location. Okay, see here. I've taken another table here. I have this location ID and I have this location ID here. Now, if you check this location ID, what you see here, this is unique values. That is, this is a master table. Let's say, go here. See, I have the location ID here. Now, from this ID, say, I'll go here in this data. I have only the location ID. I want to get the location name for this table. See, here, I want this location ID and the sales value. Now, what I'll do, I'll go to this query, take this location ID, and I'll match with this. Say, I want region. For this each region, I want this sales value. See, I took region from location table, sales from this data table. Now, if I run this, see, I'm getting like this. Now, I want to group this. I want the total of region, each region, and the sales. Right click, design view, just go to this group. It says group by, and I'll say sum. See, I'm getting the total here like this. That means on the joins also I can use this group, sort, where condition, everything I can use. Go to this SQL view, and if I paste it here, see, location.region, sum of sales from data, where I'm using this inner join, and on which ID I'm actually trying to connect, and group by region. See, this way also I can use joins. I can also sort it. So suppose if I go here, right click, design view. Now let's say I'll take the state as well. If I run this, see, for each state in each region, what is the values? Now if you want to sort it, right click, design view. See, let's say I want to sort by region first, and then by sales descending order. See, this is central, it is getting sorted, then east it is getting sorted, then south, and then west. The query, you go and check this, it will be like this: location, state, from the table, inner join on location, say group by, and then order by. So this is how the query will. So likewise, you can actually join the tables and then you can get the data. Let's set this. Okay. So this is what we have in join queries.